In the Sunday Post edition of 1st October 2006, this was the headline: "I've won by 55%, Sata." Sata declared his victory even before official results were announced. In the story by Larry Monze and Bivan Saluseki, the Cobra is quoted as having accused members Post of having more minions whose wish in supporting what he termed the criminal government of President Levi Mwanawasa had been shattered by what he called a referendum by the people of Zambia. In this edition of Stand Up for Zambia, focus is on people like the Cobra and the Almighty Membe who are up to no good. The Cobra had declared himself winner of the 2006 tripartite elections, giving himself 55%, 25% to Mwanawasa, and 11% to Hichilema. This was real wishful thinking, because the Cobra was certainly headed for a second loss, and he got it. To say that chloroquine is bitter may be an understatement, because the Cobra was bitter. Yes, bitter with Membe, Malupenga and the Post as a whole. In fact, I think he was bitter with everyone, even himself. The Cobra is quoted in this story as having said, "The reason Membe is behaving like this is because he is trying to protect Mutembo Nchito, because he is attached to the Nchito brothers. The Nchito brothers have earned more money than they will recover. The Post is inciting the people of Zambia. I would not be surprised to hear those editorials are written from Godfrey House, from Mutembo Nchito's office." The Cobra was then of the view that members Post had ridiculed and insulted him through editorials. Today, the Cobra's Patriotic Front, PF, is in a very steamy relationship with members Post. It is a love affair that can only be likened to that of teenagers. Admittedly, there has been no formal announcement of this steamy relationship, but when two young teens are overly in love, everyone in the neighborhood will notice, no matter how the two try to keep it secret. But what's more is that members Post and the Cobra's PF are cohabiting, and seriously so. In this editorial of the same day, headlined "A Lesson for Sata," members Post wrote, "We must learn to be accommodating. These are the very things that we have complained of in our editorials. Sata's inability to operate in an organized and civilized democratic atmosphere is really frightening. There appears nothing sacred or fundamental to be preserved with him." This editorial comment was obviously a sharp reaction to the events of the previous day, Saturday 30th September 2006, when angry PF cadres besieged the Post newspaper's Bwinjimfumu offices, protesting the publication of a story of that day headlined "Levy Headed for Victory." In concluding this particular editorial, members Post wrote, "The attempt by Sata's cadres to attack our offices and disrupt our work is the same hooliganism and thuggery we condemned Sata for in Chawama in 2001. It seems violence is in his blood. But it is inconceivable that a leader who wants to lead a nation that has a plural political system can be so intolerant and married to violence. He will not only be president of his supporters, but for the whole nation. And if every time one does something that displeases Sata, violent cadres have to visit him, then what type of a nation are we going to have with him as our country's president? Truly, Sata is about 70 years old. The man has still many lessons to learn. I am sure nothing much has changed in the Cobra today, except of course that he is a few years older and indeed withering away. You see, I have loads and loads of stuff on the Cobra and the Almighty Membe heaped up in my arsenal. So far, I think what I have unleashed is not even a quarter of the cachet I have. But I will continue filling you in, sometimes round by round, and other times rapidly like machine gun volleys. Just now, I want to take you to one of my archive footage of 2008 when Hakainde Hichilema, President of the United Party for National Development UPND, addressed a campaign rally in Chingola's Chiwempala Township. This rally was continuously disrupted by the Cobra's PF cadres, who kept passing in a small convoy of cars, one of them pulling a board and chanting their party slogan. The PF cadres were obviously out for a confrontation with Hichilema's UPND. They never got it because, like I have said before, Hichilema is a gentleman. He told his supporters to brush the PF provocation aside.
Forget about them. Who creates fights in the country. We want peace in Zambia.
Now, this statement to the effect that the PF cadres may have been high on weed, marijuana, or whatever drug it may have been came hardly 6 months after the Cobra had apparently been ordered by doctors in South Africa to stop smoking following the stroke he had earlier that year. If Hakainde's statement at the Chiwempala rally in 2008 is anything to go by, could it then point to the fact that the Cobra used to sing and dance in the grass in the days when smoke would chimney through his nose and mouth? Members' Post edition of Thursday 8th May 2008 carried a screaming headline, "Doctors Stop SATA from Smoking," with a picture of the Cobra with an unknown brand of cigarette between his lips. Right under the headline was also a picture of an old lady who, according to the caption below, was 100 years old and still going strong. The lady was photographed by Eddie Mwanaleza somewhere in Lusaka's Kanyama compound, smoking using a traditional pipe. This pipe is normally associated with smoking marijuana in places where it is used in Zambia and other parts of Southern Africa. Now, the fact that this picture, with no written story to it, was on the same front page with the Cobra's photo in a smoking mood, still raises questions today in the minds of many, including mine, as to exactly what it is that the Cobra was stopped from smoking. The Cobra may not have seen it then, but I'm sure now he knows that there may have been a lot of malice in putting this lady's picture right under the headline and next to his story. At the Chiwempala rally, the Cobra's under 5 child, in my honest opinion, made a few blunders. Just watch and listen to this.
Me, Hakainde Hichilema, if I fell sick, I can fly myself anywhere in the world with using my own money. Hakainde does not need a salary to be president of Zambia. The salary of the president is too small for me.
Hichilema's bragging baffles me to this day. That is why I kind of get the feeling that if the salary of the president is too small for him, Zambia is obviously much too large for him. If anyone out there has presidential ambitions, please do not talk about how small the president's salary is and how very wealthy you are and how you can fly yourself out to the best hospitals in the world. The same Chiwempala UPND rally of 2008 also saw various people speak out against the Cobra. What you're about to see and listen to is as raw as it can be. No